Okay.
Sorry for the difficulties. Learn Something podcast with Amy, episode 3, special episode with my brothers and my brother-in-law. Because people always, when they bump into me or when they bump into one of them, they always say, "Man, what's up with your brother? where James at? Where Elijah at?" So, you all in the same setting, and which rarely happens. And you just you get a chance to converse and enjoy each other's company, brotherhood. And like I said, we gathered here to celebrate our brother, no longer our little brother. Celebrating him being his second masters, honoring him today. And, the sound you hear is as our camera person pans the camera. As our camera person pans the camera, that sound you hear is part of my adoring family. Thank you so much. Now, as some people know and some people don't know, as far as the Learn Something podcast, as far as my brothers, I can let y'all know. It's about learning information, sharing information amongst each other. First and foremost, as brothers, as we are, but as men, period. What I've learned through my trials and tribulations of life. Women share information all the time. Whether it's slight, four of us are married, and we know how women like to share different secrets with each other. So we've seen that and knowing that over time, it made me realize how much we as men need to do that. Not just amongst us here, but just period. And when you can share information with somebody, you never know who you can learn from. And what instance that we all have found out. You can learn something from a child. You may not, sometimes you may not think so, but you can learn in any environment. That's what I found. And I'm all about exercising the brain. Like I tell people, as far as, we all have our different passions and interests, but when it comes to learning and gaining knowledge, that we all are grown men, nothing can replace it. Like the reason that we celebrate today, gaining, acquiring knowledge, and furthering that knowledge. We're saying that, before we go any further, why don't everybody introduce themselves?
I'm James, I'm the oldest.
Age?
52.
All right now.
I'm Jonathan, I'm the brother-in-law. Me. It's Poncho's day. Elijah, I'm the second oldest. That counts for anything. I'm 50.
Poncho, I'm the youngest, and I'm 31.
What's your real?
RC Randolph Patterson. That is on my ID. On my driver's license.
The one and only, Stanley Hill, 49 years old. Third child, third son. But with that being said, first thing I would like to address is, I would like, anyone can go as far as, well, outside of our guest of honor. That's right, as far as, I will go with Jonathan first. Your first impression, your first impression of RC when you met him, and speak on how your relationship made progress since then.
My first impression of watching him, I met him. He seemed like he was a stand-up guy. He wasn't really no bad karma coming out for him. Like, he went out his way, let me feel welcome. Cause how certain brothers is when you dating their sister, you probably gotta go to that brother. I gotta rub him up and get roughed up a little bit, but I see it. But it wasn't nothing like this, It was all love out the door, so. In our relationship, pretty sure everybody know I'm very quiet. I just don't talk for real, so he go out his way to speak to me, just like everybody else do, but the conversations improve at the time of day, so the relationship is always getting better.
You don't be talking.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm glad you got a chance to, you spoke how on what you were saying, because when you're talking about being a brother, about, like you said, you know, we got one sister, as you already know, and brothers can be protective, you know what I'm saying, but at the same time, you have to let her be a woman, you know, it's her wife, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, you support them or whatever, but once again, like you said, as far as dealing with RC or Poncho, when you can make someone feel like the way you make you feel, you know what I'm saying, that's what you, like you said, that's what you want, you know, when you're coming into someone's family, you want somebody to make you feel quote unquote like a brother, you know what I'm saying, even though you may not be a blood brother, and like you said, when that does happen, when you do experience it, it could put you more at ease, you know what I'm saying, you feel like you can be yourself when you come around, like, even though yourself may be like I'm an introvert, and I got two skills. So I have an extrovert skill and an introvert skill.
No, you got an extrovert scale.
Well, what I'm saying is, no, I'm serious.
I know you.
A lot of people don't know this about me, but I can't stand people, and I like people at the same time. I know how to be around people. I'm working in customer service, but like Jonathan, like what I said, I prefer much of the people around me, because that's my guy, me. But you don't know that. But the point I'm trying to get to seriously, when you are an introvert, sometimes when people, especially when people don't know, they misconstrue that. And they think that you're being standoffish. It's like, you're being standoffish, this is me. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that. I'm just being myself. And when people can allow you to be yourself, it's nothing better than, like you say, you know, and it's honored that, you know, that you actually get a chance to even feel like this. Because as a family, you know, we strive to not judge people and try to make people feel warm and loved. You know what I'm saying? And it's one thing that you really want. And moving on, I'm not gonna ask these guys, you know, their first impression that they were brother, but what I can ask you, for James and Eli, not so much a first memory, but a very old memory that you have with RC. Whether it be in a group setting or just preferably something personal, one-on-one.
It's old. It's cool. My first, probably with Puncho, I believe everybody was out the house but me, and Pooley and Puncho was the babies. So they were almost my surrogate practice on having kids before I had kids. 'Cause I had to take them around when they was babies, and mom was, you know, doing jobs or working or whatever. And, some of my fondest memories is if I had to go on a date, I had to take them with me. So, you know, like, you know, you got kids and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, but I think I'm 18 years older than her, and I'm 19 years older. So I'm at the age where I could have kids. As back then in the 90s, you know, that was you had kids early, so you know. You know, I had it with me, so they was like, you know, these your kids, and you know, he was kind of like, you know, where's mama at and all this stuff. So, you know, those are my fondest memories. I was able to get the car, even though I didn't have a license, and drive, because I had to drive and pick them up and drive them around and do all that. So that was a benefit of having them in the house. But yeah, Puncho was my little guy, my little dude. You know, he was all of ours. We used to call him Boss Man, Big Boss Man. And he had these suspenders and he loved his hats and all that stuff.
Hats.
You know, so, you know, just kind of knew it was just always us four. And we were used to us four, but then when they came after, my mom got with Earl and came in too and started the second part of the family then, we didn't really meet it with any type of animosity or jealousy. It was just more or less, I would say it was a joy. I liked having them around, and being with them and everything. So, so that was my first, probably my oldest, fondest memory, is just having him as, more like an infant, because I had to. And, but I would say this, and I'm married now, I'm happily married, 21 years and everything, but of course having a baby is a chick magnet. And, it was a real good way to pick up girls if you had a baby with you.
Was it? Was it?
Oh, he was grown by the time. I was talking about back, that was before her.
Well, as it goes, he came. I was 20 years old, so I was out the house, back and forth, but really out the house. So I didn't really see any of that. I used to come through. I see him with the hats all the time. He loved the hats, like that, and he was a real prop. And I thought that was good, coming from where we came from. Real prop English. I said, this guy might go somewhere. But we didn't really get affiliated until he was older. And as of like right now, we have conversations, and I always, strive to tell him, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that he was the smartest of all of us, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I think all of us are pretty smart, really well spoken. But I say he's the one that went all the way to school. And I told him, well, and I looked at the guy at Harris Stowe, the young, what was he, Dean of Harris Stowe? You know what I'm talking about? The young guy.
Baby,
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And I said, well, just like he did it, I said, you smart enough to do it. And I said, since you're smart enough to do it, you keep going, you keep striving. Because he can do it. He likes school. And I said, so this is your niche. So you keep going. Even now, I always strive, you keep going. PhD, double PhD, however you want to put it. He can do it.
Yeah.
So I try to talk to him now and try to instill that in him, and really with any of my brothers and sisters too. You gotta keep going, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause before you out there to get it.
Yeah.
Well, some of my oldest memories or fondest memories of RC, like Elijah, well, before Elijah, I was babysitting him. And according to my wife, that was one thing that drew me to her. That was the foundation of me being a father, watching my little brother and sister. He didn't want to say anything, but I can attest, when someone was at work, when a couple people was at work, somebody gave your son vinegar and water. I ain't gonna say who. Somebody gave him vinegar and water on more than one occasion. Just to mess with him. No, he wasn't in trouble. Just to mess with him and see his reaction. He didn't like the taste of vinegar and water. He didn't have his stomach ache or nothing like that. Just let you know, I didn't do that. But somebody said
We tell the stories now. We got the truth. Since he's a babysitter, right? So we know what happened with his babysitting, right? Now, we got a real bad whooping for.
Somebody was tell my side.
He's supposed to be watching her. So here she is, little infant, with a little smaller infant. Him had to walk all the way through the streets of Baden. By themselves, across 2 major streets. Yeah, she said, she looked up, she didn't see nobody in the house. And he was down the street.
It wasn't nobody at the house.
no.
Y'all know it wasn't nobody at the house. Y'all not gonna keep on doing me like
My
that.
first never heard anything about that. other words, I fell asleep. In other words, I fell. This was the thing that was going on while y'all was at work. So, you wonder why these two have such an affinity for myself. That's why. One of the things that I did want to speak about how our dynamic really was a little different once Michelle and RC came along. Like Eli spoke on, we was used to just being us four, but with Mike. And like you say, and just like God was saying, James was gone in and out.
The oldest.
That was his lifestyle.
Until you met Pam.
And then, that's not to say that he wasn't. That was not to say he wasn't responsible or was not working. Just that's what he did. He worked and went out. And that's what he did. That's what he did. And we looked at that, and with admiration, because we were close knit brothers, even though it's like we were close knit, but at the same time not close knit. It's an interesting dynamic because, like I said, our ages were close. James was more, I'm not gonna say advanced, but he was older. He was older, and he wasn't living at home. Me and Eli was actually living at home, and James wasn't living at home anymore. So, but at the same time, like I said, the admiration aspect was there because it's your older brother, and you're looking at how he's doing things in his life, and you're like, some aspects you incorporate in your life, and you still have your own way, your own style of doing things. So you glean things from all your brothers, which I'm sure RC can attest to with having 3 older brothers. What I would like you to do now is speak on that aspect of when you were young. When you were young and when you first realized, I'm okay, I'm a kid, but I'm not a little kid anymore. And I got older brothers, and different things I want to talk to them about or experience with them.
As far as things I want to talk about.
Oh no, I'm talking about we almost had a fight. Until he got up and I remember how he works out. Oh, I was just being big brother and he wasn't having it. We got into each other's face and I was like, I thought about it. Got up into my face and he was still nice. He was
Play video games?
we was arguing about something, and
Me. A lot.
it was
Always me.
it wasn't that. It was one of those moments where I realized that he wasn't my little brother anymore. So that, if I had to have a fight with him now, I would probably get hurt. I ain't saying I would get lost, but I know I would have got hurt. So I was like, I wasn't expecting anything. He might have been about 18 or 19. I want to say really 17. But that's kind of one of those moments where he pushed back, and I realized that it was actually a cool moment after we cooled down. Well, after I really cooled down, he was like, "I'm ready."
Now, I never got in there. Not from Hunter.
I mean, you can cross there. Daddy, more so, of course. I remember most about, first James. always give me like clothes. They all gave me clothes. And I wore them all. And some of them I said I have so many push Frugal. I'm frugal. I'm using big brain. I appreciate that. I know, but we didn't do that. We didn't talk. I was mostly talking. I'm being talked to by Damon and Elijah. Damon like threw me like a lot and like that was when, cause remember we never jump in the car. It'd be like after like mom and dad was like they would cause sometimes they would cause they had to like work like extra jobs to get us to like Catholic school, you know, and like sometimes they would take us to work with them because you know Skippy Bill, where we go, you know, and like we would on the way home in the van we'd be playing like we didn't know anything about music, all right, so. So we was listening to Disney. I mean, that's one thing we do. Disney,
Disney, right?
That's what we do. That's what we listen to. So, you know, there was a point where Damon started to do, you know, more music and like, you know, just being in high school around people and whatever. Grade school, elementary school. We wasn't doing like radio music in elementary, like middle school. We wasn't doing that. We wasn't know names like that. You know, some church music too. But I remember like there was a point, it was a shift from like Disney on like that radio to like, what is it, like, you know, say Lil Jon? Mom and dad, they tolerated for a minute. They tolerated for like a second, for like a little minute. Something like that, for like a minute. But like, but yeah, no, like they even like like still some of my favorite like musicians, you know, it's like J. Cole, like Jay-Z. Well, yeah, you wasn't Lil Jon. You didn't like Lil Jon. That's how we, yeah, but like no, you know, all kinds of like that kind of like music. And Elijah introduced me to like more like smooth jazz kind of lady kind of like music. And of course, we playing video games with Elijah too. So like that's when I think back, though, like those are like the things that I remember from like, you know, from pretty much like all of y'all kind of like influence like me in those kind of things. Cause like I'll be like, there's times I'll be in like class, you know, I'll be in like class and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna play this JC. But you know, now I'm gonna play this some Seal, you know, I'm always gonna make sure as
I don't have my Mason CD.
yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
How would you describe your relationship with Mike? And reason I say that is because like we talked about a long time ago. Remember we talked about the book Soledad Brothers by the Prison Letters to George Jackson. This was a long time ago. This is a book that Mike had introduced to me. If anyone doesn't know, George Jackson was one of the Black Panthers. And what he did, the book is called Soledad Brothers. Soledad is the name of a prison in California. And the book, like I said, has two titles, The Prison Letters of George Jackson. What he actually did, through his letters, he trained the mind of his younger brother. Unfortunately, his brother and a friend, they decided to take the courthouse. They tried to take over the courthouse. His little brother, unfortunately, we was trying to get your mindset close to this, but thankfully not that close. His little brother actually put a shotgun up to the judge's head. And he knew that was gonna be his last day on earth. So, but that was sort of the direction that we was, I ain't gonna say trying to go, but it was more so to try to get your mind on a militant, not so much militant, but knowing about how things really are out here. Because the one thing that I've always described, the way I've always described you to people is, they think I'm intelligent. And I try to tell them, you know, Mike is smarter than me. And this guy is a combination of both. He just doesn't have any kind of street influence. So when you combine all the education with the biblical part also, it makes for someone who's a very, very individual. Which is what we talked about before when you were feeling down about your life. You know, because we all do it at some point as men, when you taking self-inventory. Sometimes you get down thinking about what you may have or may not have or may want to have or but the instance that I'm speaking of, you know, we all had as brothers had to let him know, you know, we all been in the same boat. You know, you don't have to feel like you're not accomplishing this or accomplishing that. Keep doing things the way you're doing things, and then, you know, when we all got a chance to speak individually and try to get you to understand, like, man, you know, we all put too much pressure on ourselves. And the things that you have accomplished within your own life, you should honor those and realize you've done way more than the average 31 or 32-year-old. You know what I'm saying? A lot more. And just don't feel defeated. That's one thing that we all had to learn. Because there are many times when, like I told you, when we all sat in that basement, feeling defeated. At some point in your life, we all felt like that. But when you have that support system, not just your brother, but your parents, to tell you, it's all right. You're gonna be good. And when we had the conversation, I get emotional because I love my brother. And I get emotional a lot when I speak.
Yes, he does.
That's why some people say I shouldn't have a show. But still,
You asked him a question.
yeah, I know. But it's just,
Don't let him answer the question.
like, but when you,
Yes,
you
it's a point.
get different points. That's as far as but
It's at 20.
the same,
No, I said, I don't know.
your life is an inspiration.
It's all the ones he dropped up there. These
All of us.
Or you can
How you feel about him?
right now. Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to make sure what's he. That's why I said I wanted to make sure he
How
knows.
do you
He
feel
knows
about the
when.
relationship with him?
Mike. Tell who Mike is.
Oh yeah, we've already, I'm sorry, but my, our brother who's not here, who's currently, incarcerated, but will be coming home. We all, I hope for that.
He here in spirit.
Always,
Mhm.
hopefully we can call it something. That's what we was talking about as far as, cause there's been many times over your life, you know, we spoke, like he spoke on the phone, until you go, I'll let you go.
Shit, like, Miss Mike. Like he went to, you know, they put him up, like, when me and Michelle both real. So, like, a lot of times, I don't remember this vinegar thing, and this, even memories I don't have, I don't remember a whole lot of, like, Mike, outside, like, just remembering him going away. Like, that's, as far as, like, the littlest memory. I wish it wasn't, like, the worst one to remember, but, you know, I wish it was better ones I can remember, but, like, I remember that one. But, like, outside of that, you know, always talking to Mike always has, like, is very, very, you know, very good advice. He's always giving me stuff to read. He hasn't learned, that, like, some of my, and I think some people haven't learned that maybe I'm probably not the best person to give books to, because I lose them, unless they're mine. I ain't lost none of my books. I need to find Mike's books. I lost her books too. But aside from that, like, I remember him giving me like the autobiography of Malcolm X, like I remember some years back. I started reading that. Then Spike Lee made a movie, and I was like, I'm just gonna finish this movie thing. But you know, always give me like news, like articles and things to like read, to like keep me informed on business, and you know, to keep me informed for like my own like benefit, but also when he gets out, so we can have like a knowledge base, or whatever, so he can come back, so we can be successful when he gets out.
Now, when we were younger, we were based and centered a lot around sports, and we all know, you know, it's not really something that's really big, that you big on. But just what are the things that really drive you outside of education? Outside of education, what are the things that really drive you, that really push you, that make you go in your life? What do you think that you like? before we go any further, we talked about this before. Please, in front of everyone here, we are going to talk about your trip to Europe. It's like I was, like we talked about before.
Which trip? It's like 3 of
The
them.
last one. Most people never get a chance to experience international travel or international travel for an extended period of time. You may go somewhere for a week, or a weekend or a week, but when you're talking about getting a chance to go to more than one country, different countries, and experience different cultures, and like I said, you was there, you know, you were there for a long time. Let's go from when you first touched down. Let's go from how you felt when you first touched down. It's your first time out of the country. What country are you in?
It's first time out. I'm in the Schiphol airport in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, so like right outside of Amsterdam. So seeing like landing, you know, kind of walking through, seeing the signs of different languages. I remember seeing like a lot of like black people like working at the airport. Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's like everything like over there. Like we have this idea of like, you know, Europe, like, you know, you go to like Paris, it's all Germany, it's like it's all white people, you know, and stuff, tall shoes and stuff. I don't have that view. I'm sure some of y'all that's listening, but
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but like, you know, it was like, shoot, like all kinds of people, black people, a lot of I don't know, like people from Caribbean, people from the Southeast, like the islands, Indonesia, I want to say, just people I can't even recognize, but like obviously are not who we think about when we think of like people in whatever city, whether it's in Amsterdam, or Rotterdam, Netherlands, whether it's in Paris, France, or whether it's in like
How long?
Heidelberg, Germany, or wherever.
How long were you in Netherlands? That trip?
That trip, about that was there the longest. It's like that's where my friends who was like, you know, helping me out. It was like maybe like 3 days. So like it was like 2 days there in the Netherlands, and then me and my friend we took a trip through Belgium, through like France to go to Paris. He drove.
Y'all drove from the Netherlands to Belgium?
To Paris. Yep. We drove to it was like 4 hours, 4-hour drive.
Explain, if you can, expound upon, how did the countryside look? In reference to things that you may have seen, somebody may have seen on like, for lack of a better example, like a James Bond movie. I don't know a James Bond movie, but when you think about car scenes like in movies that, you know what I'm saying? How did that, you know, did it look just like something here, or did you feel like, you know, I'm looking at something, you know what I'm saying?
I remember, I mean, it's similar in like the sense of like a lot of wide open spaces where the road was. So we was going, there was a lot of wide open spaces, except when we was like going through cities, you know, big buildings and like, you know, being in the countryside, a lot of wide spaces, but like, unlike over here, you know, when over there, it's like, there's towns with like architecture that's like, you know, probably, I would assume centuries old churches and things like that. I think maybe saw like one castle on the French countryside. I want to say, I actually went to a castle when I was in Germany, because we was like on that way back. But as far as like what you would imagine in like a James Bond movie or something like that, I mean like a pretty similar. I mean you don't see a lot of like old stuff, old churches, cathedrals, mostly if you're like going the way that we went through. And maybe a castle or two, maybe.
How would you say the black man, you from what your experience, what you saw worldwide, not here?
Did you get harassed?
Because I know there are certain countries that they say, as far as we still get treated wrong in certain countries.
When did they let you know you?
Oh, sorry.
Did you have it?
Oh yeah, I remember we was well, I don't know if this counts. This is that idea feel kind of about it. So like it was when we arrived in like Paris. It was at night. So got our ARP or whatever, we got that straight, then we wanted to like, you know, cause I was like, I'm still up, I wanna see like, you know, the Champs-Elysees, I wanna see the Arc de Triomphe, so we took like trains like down there, and like, you know, we saw it, it was cool, we walked around, it was, you know, saw all these like, you know, buildings down this road, and with these like names like big time fashion moguls, Dior, and other stuff like that, other like, you know, big names like that was nice, the whole building was beautiful, and it was nighttime too. I remember, I was trying to like use the restroom at some point, I was trying to get something to eat, but I was being picky because I didn't want to eat no McDonald's. Cause I heard people say stuff, well, you eat McDonald's in this country, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, it's McDonald's, McDonald's. I'm not gonna travel for 5,000 miles to eat McDonald's. I'm not gonna. I look like, drive 5,000 miles to eat a Burger King. All right, let's go to Pizza Hut. Like 7,000 miles, we're in like, you know, Paris and blah, blah, blah. Let's go to Pizza Hut. Like, no, I don't want to eat none of that. I want to eat whatever is not those things. That's what I want to eat. And I remember I was trying to get him going to like one store. My friend who's white Dutch man, and he just kind of, I remember him walking into the building, and I was just gonna walk with him, walk behind him until he went into the building. But like this one big old brother, I guess he was the doorman. He was like, well, no, blah blah no. I was like, what? He went in. Oh, all right. Mm-hmm. And I think it was that. I think it was then. I mean, like,
But it was the brother.
yeah. I mean, there's black cops. It's still, because it's, you know, it's the operating with the same mindset. You know, you're operating the same structure. It don't matter if you black
So
or
you-
white. You
you-
still operating in the structure.
So you were technically living the song by Jay-Z and Kanye West.
Okay. Yeah, it's the way to put it.
On that trip or any other trip, what country had the best food? Best food, best culture. You don't have to be that trip, it can be any trip. But you know what I'm saying, you've been on trip.
Okay, well, I'm not going back to Paris, so I'm gonna say Netherlands. I think they have the best everything.
Best everything.
Oh yeah, great. They
Any standout dish?
Well, you know, if I'm being honest, like it was decent food pretty much everywhere that I went. I just spent more time in the Netherlands. But like, let's see. The thing is, like, I remember when I was in Paris, like, I'm talking smack about like McDonald's, but I did eat burger all over there. It wasn't McDonald's, it wasn't McDonald's. It was pretty decent, but like, I wouldn't like qualify that as like actually having tried French cuisine. I wouldn't say that. But like, I've had the most food I've had was in like the Netherlands. So I would say, you know, it was their food. Oh no, now my friends would say, and I think they have a point when they say this, like the best food in like Netherlands generally is from the countries that they colonized. Because like in all those European countries, colonized other countries. And a lot of like those people from the colonies. Yeah, like a lot of like black people and whatever in like the Netherlands, but like a lot of them come from like South America because the Dutch had a colony. It was Suriname. So there's a lot of Suriname restaurants there, there's Vietnamese restaurants there. So like, because I spent the most time there, I was able to try the most different kind of stuff there.
Now, keeping the conversation on travel, as you guys know, I'm a traveler, and anything required to travel, I love. Speak on places that, a few places that you've been from. Yeah.
Jamaica, Peru, Mexico,
Where in Jamaica, where in Mexico?
Ocho Rios, Grand Canyon.
And this all on one trip, or?
Yeah, well, the cruise, you know, hit about 4 ports.
So this was an Eastern Caribbean cruise, or?
Yeah, that was, then I was in Mexico. What is that?
There was another cruise, or just a
Yeah.
trip to Mexico? No.
Yeah, 'cause that's what me and my wife, we cruise, we try to cruise. Well, we was trying before Corona, we was trying to cruise like once a year. So we, you know, so that was another one, no, I forgot the other one. But, just straight down the coast, what's around, not Haiti, what's down, Dominican Republic, you know, all this.
That's
Indoor cabin, or? Y'all had indoor cabin, or y'all had one that I looked up?
Well, sometimes we get into it, sometimes we get, you know, more what's the name, one without, you know what I'm saying? Depending on what we do, what price we wanna pay.
Y'all not playing shuffleboard.
Huh?
Y'all not playing shuffleboard.
We got
What,
things to do with that.
What,
Yeah.
would not, same cruise line, same company, or different cruise line, does it make a difference?
Well, we always had corners, because they would always give us a deal, you know what I'm saying? So we stuck with it, and every time we go back, they give us a sweeter deal.
That's what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah, so we never tried Norwegian or anybody else, not that.
Okay, Damon.
Oh, no.
You don't have to be international, though.
I've been to Canada, but that was before my wife, so that's not really a pleasant, venue. Nine. It wasn't French. But yeah, we traveled within the state, we traveled to Tennessee. That was Kentucky? It's the same difference. Yeah, we went down there, we had a nice week there with, the time, with some family,
In Kentucky.
in Kentucky. That was Kentucky, right? That wasn't that. It was Kentucky. So, but, other than that, no, man, give our traveling. He's been trying to get me to go on the cruise, with him, but, yeah, we working our way into it, so. Yeah, a lot of that travel. I live vicariously, you know, used to as far as the traveling and about vacation and all that, so.
You gotta get out there and get your feet wet.
Damon. Damon. Don't wrap him up.
One thing that I would like to say was, probably, so, no traffic. Me personally, not too, never think of me, I'm getting on the road every morning, you know, down the channel. But, this was a great experience, just to, get a chance to sit around, chop things up, go small things, got a deal out there.
Hey, that music.
That's fine. Like, I mean, it was a great opportunity, get a chance to, be with you guys. You know, I mean, if I look at it like, if I can be love the guys, I can always love this, you know, get it. Because, like I try to tell you, it's always, that's the basis of this show, it's always on love and information sharing, whereas trying to come up with some, don't really have to. Learn something. But, signing off, great evening, great fellowship. That's it for tonight. I want to thank my brothers for coming through, James Hill, R.C. Patterson,
Speedy.
Elijah Hill. My brother, Mark Johnson, here to go. Thank my family for our live audience. And my beautiful wife.
Thank y'all for holding that water. We know it was hard for y'all to hold that water.